Hello everyone, my name is Aarti and you're watching HW News. Breaking news at this moment is coming in from Delhi, where senior Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad has resigned from the Congress party, from the primary membership of the Congress party. He has severed all his ties with the Congress party. From the last few days, Ghulam Nabi Azad had been upset with the Congress leadership. He was a member of the G23 group of leaders who were asking for a complete change of leadership, in organizational changes also in the Congress party. But today he has finally resigned from the party. His move of resigning from the Congress party comes just few days after he resigned from the post of campaign committee chairperson of Jammu and Kashmir, for which he was appointed just few hours back, but he refused to take up that appointment and resigned from that particular post of the party. And now he has resigned from all the posts of the party, from the primary membership of the Congress party as well. Ghulam Nabi Azad, a very senior leader, experienced leader of the Congress from Jammu and Kashmir, had been with the Congress party since his young days. He worked under Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, late Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi as well. Then he worked under Manmohan Singh and also under Sonia Gandhi as the president of the Congress party. He has been union minister in the Congress government. He has been leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha for the past many years as well, and he has also had roles in organization, very important roles in the organization. But for quite some time, Ghulam Nabi Azad was reportedly very upset with the Congress party, especially with the Gandhis and the leadership of the Congress party. Last he was spotted on 15th of August during the 75th Independence Day, that is the completion of the 75th independence of India, where the Congress party had organized Independence Day celebration at the Congress headquarters. There, Ghulam Nabi Azad was spotted along with Rahul Gandhi. However, in his resignation letter, he has some harsh parting words, not only for the Congress party, but also for Rahul Gandhi, who was former president of the Congress party and currently he is MP from Wayanad. He sent this resignation letter to interim Congress president Sonia Gandhi. This is a 5-page letter, so you can imagine what exactly went through his mind, what exactly he would have written. He has written how he got into the Congress party, how he joined the Congress party, how he served the Congress party, and what his issues are with the Congress party. That is what he has written in this 5-page letter, and I will be shortly telling you what exactly he wrote in the letter, and I will be reading some part of the letter to you also. But before that, let me just tell you that in the parting letter, in the resignation letter, as I said, he has some harsh words for not only the party but also for Rahul Gandhi. So much so that he called Rahul Gandhi's behavior childish. He called Rahul Gandhi an immature politician and accused him of demolishing consultative mechanism in the party. Yes, that is what he has written in the letter. Not only that, in a bombshell resignation letter, he also called organizational election in the Congress party are nothing but a farce and a sham. He said that the party has preferred coterie of inexperienced sycophants who sit at 24 Akbar Road over senior and experienced leaders of the party. He also said that there is no ground connect in the AICC and there is no representation of ground level workers in the top decision making body of the Congress party. He further said that remote control model of UPA government, for which UPA government did get a lot of brickbats, has now seeped into the Congress party. So much so that while Sonia Gandhi is the interim president of the Congress party, it is Rahul Gandhi, who is currently MP from Wayanad, who is taking all the decision. And worse so, he alleges in the resignation letter that these decisions are taken by his security guards and his PAs. That is what Ghulam Nabi Azad has written in this letter. Furthermore, he said that G23 members expressed concern over party losing election after election, but their concern were not taken into consideration, and in fact they were vilified by these young leaders and those close to Gandhi family. He further advised the Congress party that before Bharat Jodo Yatra that Congress party is embarking upon from 2nd of October and for which the preparations have already started. A campaign song, campaign slogan has already been released by the Congress party. This is a Pada Yatra that Congress party is undertaking from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, which is called Bharat Jodo Yatra. Ghulam Nabi Azad has advised that before Bharat Jodo Yatra, there should be a Congress Jodo effort that should be made by the leadership of the Congress party. Let me read out to you some of the paragraphs from the resignation letter of Ghulam Nabi Azad. I have a copy of it with me. 5-page letter is what has been written by Ghulam Nabi Azad. In the first page, he spoke about how he joined the Congress party. He spoke about the situation in Jammu and Kashmir that forced him to join Congress party, and how he was inspired in his student days by the ideals of Mahatma Gandhi, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Patel, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Subhash Chandra Bose and other leading freedom fighters in the country at that point of time. He further speaks about Indira Gandhi, late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. He speaks about how he worked under Rajiv Gandhi and he has got several roles. He played several roles in the organization as well as in the government that was led by these two leaders. Furthermore, he also speaks about his tenure under Sonia Gandhi as the president of the Congress party. He praises Sonia Gandhi that under her leadership that the party was able to form UPA 1 and UPA 2 government in the country. But he further says that while undoubtedly as president of the Indian National Congress you played a sterling role in the formation of both UPA 1 and UPA 2 governments, however, one of the major reasons for this success was that as president you heeded the wise counsel of senior leaders besides trusting their judgment and delegating powers to them. This is what he has written. This is what one of the paragraph is on page number 2. Let me read out to you what exactly he said after that. He says, however, unfortunately, after the entry of Shri Rahul Gandhi into politics, and particularly after January 2013, when he was appointed as the vice president by you, the entire consultative mechanism which existed earlier was demolished by him. This is what he alleges. He further says, all senior and experienced leaders were sidelined and new coterie of inexperienced sycophants started running the affairs of the party. He says that all the senior and experienced leaders of the party, wise counsels of the party who were earlier being heard by the president of the Congress party Sonia Gandhi were sidelined one by one, and the new coterie of inexperienced sycophants took over the party and they started running the affairs in the party. He further says one of the most glaring examples of this immaturity was tearing up of a government ordinance in the full glare of media by Rahul Gandhi. The said ordinance was incubated in the Congress core group and subsequently unanimously approved by the Union Cabinet, presided over by the Prime Minister of India and duly approved by even the President of India. This childish behavior completely subverted the authority of the Prime Minister and the Government of India. This one single action more than anything else contributed significantly to the defeat of the UPA government in 2014, that was at the receiving end of a campaign of calumny and insinuation from a combination of the forces of the right wing and certain unscrupulous corporate interest. He says that the tearing up of ordinance by Rahul Gandhi, the infamous incident of Rahul Gandhi tearing up the ordinance outside the parliament, was the moment, the single moment that led to the defeat of Congress party. While other external forces were also there, the campaign by right wing, the anti-corruption movement was also there, but this was also the moment that led to the defeat of the Congress party. He called this behavior of Rahul Gandhi as childish. He further says that you may recall that after you took over as the Congress president, after dethroning Sitaram Kesri, the Congress leadership had met for a brainstorming in Panchmari in October of 1998. Subsequently, there was another such session in Shimla in 2003 and then again in Jaipur in January 2013. I had privilege of chairing the working group on organizational affairs on all these three occasions. He says that, however, regrettably, None of the recommendations of these retreats were ever properly implemented in the party. In fact, in January 2013 at Jaipur, I had proposed, with the assistance of other members of the committee, a detailed action plan to revitalize the party in the run-up to 2014 Lok Sabha election. That action plan was duly approved by the CWC. These recommendations were supposed to be implemented in a time-bound manner before 2014 Lok Sabha elections, but unfortunately, these recommendations are lying in the storeroom of AICC for the past 9 years. And in spite of my repeated reminders in person, both to you and the then Vice President Shri Rahul Gandhi from 2013 onwards, to implement these recommendations, no effort was made to even examine them seriously. So he says that certain recommendations were made by the Congress party, especially a working group that he chaired on the organizational affairs, and they had made certain recommendation to revitalize party in the run-up to 2014 Lok Sabha election. Let me remind you that in the run-up to 2014 Lok Sabha election, the Congress party faced massive anti-incumbency due to the allegations of corruption on them and the allegation of dynasty politics on them. So Ghulam Nabi Azad in his resignation letter says that he had proposed an action plan to revitalize the entire party in 2013, but the recommendation of these committee are still lying in the storeroom of AICC for the past 9 years, and no one has bothered to even look at these recommendations seriously. Furthermore, he says, under your stewardship since 2014 and subsequently that of Shri Rahul Gandhi, the Indian National Congress has lost 2 Lok Sabha elections in a humiliating manner. It has lost 39 out of 49 assembly elections held between 2014 and 2022. The party only won 4 state elections and was able to get into coalition situation in 6 instances. But unfortunately today, the Indian National Congress is ruling in only 2 states, and it is a very marginal coalition partner in 2 other states. He says since 2019 elections, in a situation in the party has only worsened after Shri Rahul Gandhi stepped down in a huff and not before insulting all the senior party functionaries who have given their lives to the party. In a meeting of the extended working committee, you took over as the interim president, a position that you have continued to hold even today for the past 3 years. He further says, worse still, the remote control model that demolished the institutional integrity of the UPA government now got applied to the Indian National Congress. While you are just a nominal figurehead, all the important decisions were being taken by Rahul Gandhi, or rather worse, his security guards and his PAs. So in his resignation letter, he speaks about the elections that are lost by the Congress party and how Congress party has been reduced to a marginal player even in the coalition governments in only 2 states now, and the Congress party now has only 2 states with it. That is, the Congress party is governing only in 2 states, the states being Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. In other 2 states, the Congress party is a figure that is a coalition partner. But he says after 2019 elections, Lok Sabha election, after the humiliating defeat of the Congress party, Rahul Gandhi stepped down in a huff and not before insulting the senior leaders of the party who have spent their lifetime working for the Congress party. This is what Ghulam Nabi Azad is alleging in the resignation letter. He further says that even if in that particular Congress working committee meeting, it was decided that Sonia Gandhi will take over as the interim president of the Congress party once again, the Sonia Gandhi is still the interim president of the Congress party. Sonia Gandhi is still just a nominal figurehead, and all the decisions regarding the party affairs are taken by Rahul Gandhi, and worse still, his security guards and PAs. Furthermore, he says, in the August of 2020, when I and 22 other senior colleagues, including former Union Minister and Chief Ministers, wrote to you to flag the abysmal drift in the party, the coterie chose to unleash its psycho funds on us and got us attacked, vilified and humiliated in the most crude manner possible. In fact, on the directions of the coterie that runs the AICC today, my mock funeral procession was taken out in Jammu. Those who committed this indiscipline were feted in Delhi by the General Secretaries of the AICC and Rahul Gandhi personally. So this is what a big allegation is. He says that after he made those suggestions, after the group of 23 leaders made the suggestions of organizational changes in the Congress party, they were vilified, they were humiliated, and they were attacked by this coterie of sycophants. And he further says that on the direction of this coterie, some members of the AICC took out his funeral procession, mock funeral procession in Jammu, and those who committed this indiscipline were feted by general secretaries of the AICC in Delhi and also by Rahul Gandhi. This is what the allegation is. He further says, subsequently, the same coterie unleashed his gundas to physically attack the residence of former ministerial colleague Kapil Sibal, who incidentally was defending you and your kin in the courts of law for your alleged attacks of omission and commission. The only crime committed by the 23 senior leaders who wrote that letter out of concern for the party is that they pointed out both the reasons for the weaknesses of the party and the remedies thereof. Unfortunately, instead of taking those views on board in a constructive and cooperative manner, we were abused, humiliated, insulted and vilified in an specially summoned meeting of the extended CWC meeting. Unfortunately, the situation in the Congress party has reached such a point of no return that now proxies are being propped up to take over the leadership of the party. This experiment is doomed to fail because the party has been so comprehensively destroyed that situation has become irretrievable. Moreover, the chosen one would be nothing more than a puppet on a string. Now, this is a direct dig at the Congress president's election. Apparently, there are talks going on about the election of a president for the Congress party, and there were reports that Rahul Gandhi is still uninterested in becoming the president of the Congress party, despite several quarters of the Congress party and several members of the Congress party urging him to become the president of the Congress party. Once again, Rahul Gandhi is still uninterested, and there are reports, there are speculations that Ashok Gehlot, Chief Minister of Rajasthan, might become the president of the Congress party. Taking a dig at that, Ghulam Nabi Azad says that now proxies are being propped up to take the leadership of the party, but this experiment is doomed to fail because the party has been so comprehensively destroyed that situation has become irretrievable, and he says that the chosen one will be nothing but a puppet on a string. He further says that the entire organizational election process is a farce and a sham. AICC leadership is squarely responsible for perpetrating a giant fraud on the party to perpetuate its hold on the ruins of what once was a national movement that fought for the and attained independence of India. He says that this coterie of leaders, AICC leadership, is squarely responsible for perpetuating a giant fraud on the party to keep its hold on the ruins of party that was once a national movement and that led to independence of India. He further says that some of my other colleagues and I will now persevere to perpetuate the ideals for which we have dedicated our entire adult lives outside the formal fold of Indian National Congress. But he further says, in fact, before starting Bharat Jodo Yatra, the leadership should have undertaken a Congress Jodo exercise across the country. It is therefore with a great regret and extremely leaden heart that I have decided to sever my half-a-century-old association with the Indian National Congress, and hereby I resign from all my positions, including the primary membership of the Indian National Congress. This is what was the letter written by Ghulam Nabi Azad to Sonia Gandhi, interim president of the Congress party. Ghulam Nabi Azad has said in his last paragraph of the resignation letter that he is severing his half-a-century alliance with the Congress party, his half-a-century association with the Congress party, and he also suggested that before starting Bharat Jodo Yatra, the Congress party should hold a Congress Jodo Yatra, Congress Jodo exercise across the party, across the country. Now, as I said, Ghulam Nabi Azad was upset for the last few years, in fact, since 2020, because in 2020 was the one when G23 leaders had suggested the organizational change, and in a meeting after that, there were reports that Rahul Gandhi and the young leaders of the Congress party blamed the senior leaders for the situation of the Congress party, for the abysmal situation of the Congress party, in which Congress party has lost multiple elections. Now, what happens from here onwards, that remains to be seen. Like Ghulam Nabi Azad, will more senior leaders of the Congress party go out of the party, will quit the party? That remains to be seen, because Congress party is embarking upon a very ambitious Bharat Jodo Yatra, in which it plans to revitalize the Congress workers, the grassroots Congress workers, and revitalize the party. But will that happen, and what will happen before that if the senior leaders of the party will quit? Whether more resignations are on the cards after Ghulam Nabi Azad resigned as the campaign committee chairperson of Jammu and Kashmir. Anand Sharma also followed the suit, and he resigned from the Himachal Pradesh Congress unit president's post. He resigned from the post that was given to him in the Himachal Pradesh Congress committee, and after that Jaivir Shergill, who is spokesperson of the Congress party, also resigned from the party. And again, as I said, in his resignation he had some harsh words for the Congress party and the way the party is being run. So what will happen now? Will there be more resignation on the card for the Congress party? That remains to be seen. And also there is another big question, that whether this rumbling in the Congress party between young versus old will lead to a new set of leaders for the Congress party, and will this new set of leaders under the leadership of Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra will be able to lead the party in the run-up to 2024 Lok Sabha elections? That remains to be seen. Do let us know what you think about this in the comment box below. For more news and updates, you can log on to www.hwnews.in. Also, if you like the videos that we bring to you, then please, I appeal all of you to support us. Go to our website www.hwnews.in/subscribe us. We have listed certain subscription options for our viewers and our readers. Take up the plan that suits your budget and pay us. You can also send us superstars and super thanks on our YouTube as well as on our Facebook. And please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, comment below the video, because that helps us to increase our reach on the social media platforms. Thank you so much.